Twitch for sure. Streamers have been the most egregious, I think. I don't know if you guys talk about all the reason why the gaming industry or dudes in video games are like this, but it's a lot of fucking like ugly dudes that have never had any social interaction, have never spoken to girls before. They don't have no idea how to talk to women. They cannot have a direct conversation of women. They've never fucking had a girlfriend. They've never even spoken to one. They've never had their first kiss ever in their life. And then they also
watch porn too.
Yeah, the way that they speak to you starts with their fantasies, not with what's presently in front of them.
I would also say to caution that too. It's not just like guys in gaming. Like this is like an issue that like wrecks like the entire fucking world of business, right? These aren't necessarily things specific to just like gamer bros.
Sure, Steven, you're totally right. But in a certain context, nerd culture or guys that are into this culture definitely
can be pretty exclusive.
Yeah, definitely from my firsthand, own experience and just seeing this culture. Yeah, these guys in this industry do not know how to fucking talk to women more generally than most guys in the world or whatever. Like there's the overlap between all of the shitty communities on the internet and fucking video games is usually pretty high. Uncoincidentally. So, the people in this industry, you have these guys that then get fame and become huge streamers and then get money and power. And then there becomes a huge power imbalance between guy who was all fucked up and now has money and power and fame in an industry which is now the biggest in the world, which is video games, surpassing everything else. So with video games and this entire industry getting huge, and then you combine it with how dudes act that are gamers online, Steven, you are right, but then you add it on like all of the culture, and then you have guys that are addicted to the internet and video games, and they're sitting indoors 10 to 12 hours a day, and they're not having any human communication, and they're not talking to definitely women in the real world at all.
That's what I want to clarify too.
To some extent, I kind of want to agree with you, but the big problem though is that like when you talk about those types of nerds, these are the people that like are just really bad at like pickup lines or talking to girls or like even breaking the ice. These are guys just suck at that. A lot of the behavior and the accusations we've seen haven't been from awkward nerds. It's been pretty predatory behaviors by like men in positions of power for women, and that's like a narrative that has like been true throughout the entire world, probably for all of human history, but like especially now like cross industry. Like if we look at a lot of these accusations, I can't think of any that I've read that I could chalk up to like, oh, that's just, oh my God, the awkward gamer bro thought that since he was the CEO, he could like fuck the girl, like LOL, like just gamer. Like it's not just an awkward gamer bro. It's like pretty specifically like guy is in a position of power, wants sex from a girl, knows that the girl needs something from him, and then decides to like abuse that position, I think.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the stories I read, I think, or for most of us, we read those and we were like, he knew better than that. Like they knew they weren't supposed to do that.
Or they're just outright predatory, like literal.
Like I could see both sides. I can see the awkward nerds not having interaction with girls, like on this, especially on the streamer side. And then their only interaction sometimes is video games where, women are very sexualized fantasies. And then they only watch porn instead of talking to girls. But I also see the side where there's men who come from like a business side in the CEO companies who aren't necessarily awkward gamers. They aren't raised that way necessarily. Some are. But they also just are abusing power like men have for years, way before online streaming became a thing.
It was fucking hot. Okay.